Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Angel Citadel. It feels like it's been, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months, even though it's only been 6 weeks. But we finished up Invisible Sun. Our friends have found their soul's direction. And now we're going to start a new one because we're just crazy that way. The game is Vampire the Requiem, the second edition. That's by Onyx Path Publishing on license from White Wolf and Paradox. I'm Josh Wallace. I'll be your game master. And you should see a couple of familiar faces on my cast this time around. They were with me for Invisible Sun. We've got a couple of fresh ones as well. So I'd like, if we could, just take a second and introduce them. I want to thank them for being here in advance, and I'm kind of psyched to get this going. So, Jeff, why don't we get started with you?
Well, hey, my name is Jeff. I am Jeffrey Boring on Discord, and today I will be playing Sage Thorn.
Awesome.
Is there a? We don't have a sentence this time, so
yeah, I know it's so weird not having one, right? So go ahead. Yeah, I guess maybe share your clan and your covenant then.
I am a Mechat clan, and I am by default a member of the Carthian movement. Though I'm not sure Sage has felt entirely welcome or appreciated there. So that could change at some point.
We'll see what happens. Joanne, how about you?
I am playing Kimberly McKnight, who is a Deva and a member of the Lancea et Sanctum, the Black Church.
All righty. And a rock star to boot.
Yes.
Or rather an aspiring rock star. How about that?
Yes, we all want to be big rock stars. I'm not there yet, but I'll get there.
Hey, that's what Nickelback says, right?
Yes, and I've got plenty of time.
You do now. So Joanne and Jeff were both cast members of Invisible Sun, the Soul's Direction, and they're back, and we're going to meet our new cast members now. Rusty, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Rusty. I'm going to be playing Victor Rockwell. He is a member. He is a part of the Gangrel clan, a member of the Invictus, and he's just a struggling animator trying to kind of cope with the beast that's inside of him now.
Amen to that. And last but certainly not least, Caro.
Hey, I'm Caro. I use they, them pronouns. I'll be playing Charlotte DeLaquer, a suddenly destitute influencer from old money times. She is an Invictus Deve.
Awesome. So, if you joined us here just a few seconds before the broadcast, you noticed the opening screen is a bit different. We are going to advise that you be careful as you watch this. There's quite a bit of bad that happens in this. Vampire the Requiem and Vampire the Masquerade, from which it came, are about monsters. And my players, my cast, as much as I love them, they're not the good guys in this game. So there's going to be some things that happen, and all those have happened with consent. We've talked about it beforehand, and I'm going to check in regularly with them, perhaps on screen, perhaps off screen. But due to the themes of the broadcast, we do advise some viewer discretion. Please know what you're getting into, and take care of yourself. If something becomes too much, we don't want anybody to not have fun here. us or you guys that are watching. So thank you for joining us. We've got a lot of people here in the chat, and it's kind of cool. So let's get started. Miami. Most people, when they go to Miami, they think of beaches, they think of good food, they think of the Miami Heat. If you're a basketball fan, they think of conventions or nearness to Florida attractions. But there's another side to Night City. There's a reason they call it Vice City. And Miami has an underbelly. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. As the sun sets on our scene, you find yourselves waking up from a deep sleep. You have each been vampires now for several months. We'll perhaps get into some flashbacks here over the course of our game about how that came to be. But you all wake up where you're staying. So let's go ahead and start with Jeff. You've been at the Marley's. Crud. I'm already forgetting names. I hate that. Marley's Afterlife, where your sire has an apartment upstairs, and he's been kind of letting you crash on his couch periodically. Although you mentioned to me that you've been making some friends and have been doing a little bit of couch surfing as well. This day you find yourself waking up there, though, and as you do, he's sitting in a chair across from you, kind of kicked back, and he's flush. His skin is warm and red, and you can tell he's blushing life, and he's puffing on a bong. And he looks at you and grins as you wake up. He says, "Sage, guess what? Come on, guess.
Oh.
Guess."
It looks like you've eaten for tonight.
Yeah. What else? Come on.
I don't know. I can't read your mind.
He lets go, and the chair thumps on the ground. He starts stamping his feet excitedly. It's party time.
Oh, isn't that how we always do? Oh, we're going.
Yeah.
tonight.
Of course, but it's party time. Prince is throwing one of his parties.
Oh, one of those. I don't think I like them as much as you do, but I mean, they're pretty good, I guess.
Only the finest blood, and straight from the source.
That's
No doubt.
true. Yeah. Okay. I'll have to pick out an outfit.
That's right. You need to get an outfit on. I'll take shopping if you need to go, but we're going. Party's tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay, I have good need to find something. That's great. What are you gonna wear?
Oh, I don't know. I'll probably throw on some old thing. It's no big deal. I'm already an outcast anyway.
I mean,
Hell, maybe I'll throw on that
all right.
Hawaiian print T-shirt and piss off the sheriff again. That's always good fun. Pretentious prick.
Really ugly shirt though. He's not wrong. Okay, well, I'm gonna go out. I need to find something to wear.
Hey, you want to hit before you go? And he offers you the bong.
No, I'm mostly just hungry right now, and make it worse.
All right.
Thank
Do what
you.
you got to do, man.
Okay, so
I'll see you tomorrow. You can
I'm
catch a
gonna
ride
go
with me
out.
in.
Okay, perfect. Um, are you gonna step out? I need to change before I go shopping.
He blinks. Oh, yeah, sure. And he sets the bong down and he gets up and almost face plants. Apparently, he's been hitting it for a while. Manages to stumble out the door and he kind of closes the door and you hear a thud as you assume he leans against the wall. And then a kind of a nervous twittering laugh. You absolutely hate that laugh.
Sage frowns and then gets up and closes the door behind him, and then gets dressed and goes out for a meal and to do some shopping.
All righty. Rusty, where are you staying? You've got an apartment, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Victor is currently in his apartment, looking through the day's schedule, seeing what he needs to do for the day, what hasn't been done yet. And
You
trying to get ready.
are sitting there planning, and you hear a loud thump at your door. Knock, knock, knock.
Victor takes a heavy sigh and very hesitantly walks over the door and opens it.
Staring back at you is the person you knew it would be when you heard that knock. Victor, looking well. She kind of peers into the apartment and looks around. Your dwelling could use some attention, though.
Look, Helen, we've been over this. I don't like you being around my place. All right, this is for me.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to care?
No, that's yeah. I know. No, you don't care. That's the whole problem here.
Well, anyway, the prince has invited us all to festivities at Elysium tomorrow evening. As you are my child, I am required to bring you. And she sounds utterly disgusted by that thought.
Judging by the tone of your voice, you ain't thrilled. Don't worry, I ain't too thrilled about that fact neither.
You will wear something nice. I'll not be embarrassed in front of the prince by you.
I'll wear whatever it is that I wear.
She looks at you
already
hard
confirmed.
for a second and then steps closer and her hand shoots up and grips you by the throat. You will not embarrass me. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She releases you. Good. I will be by tomorrow at 8 o'clock precisely to collect you. Be ready.
Understood.
And she turns and walks away.
And as she's walking away, he just slams the door shut, turns back around, walking over to his desk, just fucking bitch. And he sits down and resumes his planning.
Okay. Caro, tell me about your dwelling. What does it look like?
It is a second floor apartment, 2-bedroom with, unfortunately, a lot of windows. This place was picked out in the before times. So while it used to be very glimmery and bright with pinks and white and gold, all of the trappings for a beautiful, well-lit high-rise apartment in Miami still exist, but are now darkened with just blackout curtains, like what a night shift nurse's dream, what they would want.
Awesome. So you are at home. You slowly wake up. And what do you typically do when you awake after sleeping during the day?
She gets up and puts on her fuzzy pink slippers, puts on her stupid little Instagram headband to pull her hair back, to do skincare that is no longer necessary, but God, does the ritual feel correct. She does not look at any technology, any tech devices for at least 30 minutes after she wakes up for her mental health.
So here's an important question. Do you have a landline?
No, but anyone who is important enough is not considered part of the Do Not Disturb. They can ring through.
Okay. So your phone does ring. And as you glance down on it, you see a name that you're not particularly thrilled about seeing, but it's Cressida.
She gives it 3 rings. A gentleman's 3 rings. Hey, Cressy, what's up?
Charlotte, my girl, how are you doing today?
Oh, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tonight. How are you, dear?
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, I just received word we're going to have a party tomorrow. The prince is
Us?
throwing one of his bashes. Everybody's going to be there. It's going to be so marvelous.
Is this the first of Prince's parties since I've turned?
Yes.
And that's like...
The only one that's actually been to one of his parties before is Sage.
Okay. Oh, and that's like a sure thing?
Yes, that is a sure thing.
Okay. Go ahead, give my RSVP. What color are you wearing?
I'm looking at doing a turquoise this time. I've got a nice little number, high slit with sequins.
With a peplum?
Yes.
Okay. I'll probably do something similar.
Very good. Do you need some help picking it out, dear?
I'm an outfit repeater. I'll probably just wear a drab little number. It's my first. I don't want to call too much attention to myself.
All right. Hopefully, once you see what other people are wearing, you'll kind of get a sense for what this is. Very high fashion, very, very je ne sais quoi.
That's it. Yeah, that's what that means.
Yes, that is.
Don't
So
you
I
worry
will.
about me in my little outfit.
I will come by it at. Let's see here, 7:45 tomorrow and pick you up.
Make it 8.
8 o'clock. Okay.
All right.
You have a wonderful day, sweetheart.
Oh, kisses. Bye, darling. She hangs up.
Goodbye.
Fuck.
And Kimberly, you wake up on the 31st floor of a high-rise apartment building in a room that was given to you. Following your normal routine, you walk out. There is a gentleman in a suit that is standing at the end of the hall. He appears fairly well built, short cropped hair, and an earpiece in his ear. You walk past him. I don't know. Do you know his name?
Good morning, Miguel. Everything fine?
Yes, ma'am. Everything's just fine.
Excellent. Good work.
He's up in the breakfast nook if you prefer.
Thank you, Miguel. You are a treasure.
You walk past him through the door. There's a short spiral staircase that leads up. And as you walk up, you look over and you see in the window, there's a small table. And sitting at that table is a very dark-skinned man, close-cropped hair, extremely muscular. And he's sitting back, sipping what looks to be tea, and eating something you can't quite tell from this distance.
Good morning, my sire.
Kimberly, would you like to join me?
Always and forever.
You walk over and see that he's eating some fruit. Gestures to the chair and can I get you something to eat? Perhaps a goblet?
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Of course. And he reaches over and he gestures towards another man who goes and gets a goblet down from a cupboard and then walks over. And there's a man bound and gagged and tied to a wall. And he reaches over and slits the man's wrist, holding the goblet underneath it, and collects the goblet of blood, and then kind of bends over and looks to be kissing the man's wrist or something. But when he stands back up, the cut's gone. And all that remains is the goblet. And he walks over and he sets it in front of you and he says, "Here you are, ma'am." And he turns and walks away.
Thank you, Daniel. You're such a treasure.
The prince is staring out the window and he kind of swirls his tea a little bit and takes a sip and appears to be contemplating something. And he asks, "How have these past 3 months treated you?"
Decently well. I was already mostly a night owl, so the change in venue wasn't too excruciating.
It's about time you've been introduced to another one of our rituals, I'll call them. Often it is the prerogative of the prince of a city to gather the kindred within his boundaries in an effort to get to know one another and avoid any overt hostilities. to enjoy our afterlife together. And I'll be putting on one of these parties tomorrow in the evening, in a place you've never been before. It's called Elysium. It's a neutral territory where we can meet and discuss. We need to get you something to wear, though.
Of course, anything you wish.
Your normal attire won't do. Perhaps, shall we go shopping, you and I?
Of course.
Excellent. Please drink up.
She's gonna taste it to make sure she hasn't eaten this guy before, and then slowly sip it.
You haven't. He actually rotates the same as you do.
Do I detect a hint of cinnamon?
Had Daniel line the glasses with them. It gives it a bit of an interesting flavor.
Of course, thank you.
So you finish, and he takes you shopping, and the night passes. You go back to sleep once more, and you wake up. How long do you want to? Do each of you want to take to get ready? So when are you waking up?
Victor's just waking up like 30 minutes before. He doesn't really need a whole lot. He's just throwing something on. He picked it up the night before.
I figure Kimberly's going to be a couple of hours because she's going to get swarmed by people doing her hair and her makeup and making sure the dress is absolutely exquisite and perfect on her. And yeah.
Caro, Jeff?
Charlotte takes forever. 2 p.m. is like late. She's missed her alarm.
Sage is very meticulous about everything, and so does wake up a bit early, but doesn't necessarily do much in the way of makeup. Just a little eyeliner and then shaves the side of their head, so they have like a little messy fashion mullet, and they get dressed, and they
Okay.
went out the night before to meet some folks, and insisted upon going back to their house for a look through their closet.
Okay. And did you find anything?
Oh, of course. And they were so happy to give me access to their closet, of course. And I came home with several lovely little prizes.
Awesome. We'll have to note those later somehow, maybe on your character sheet or something. All right. So at the required time, each of you are collected by your sires and driven downtown Miami. The place where you're headed is the Sanford and Dolores Ziff Ballet and Opera House. And for those of you that have never actually been in an opera house or a performing arts center, the backstage area is almost universally a maze of hallways and ropes and ladders and gantries, and finding your way, if you don't already know it, is extremely difficult, especially one that's on a college campus, although this one's not. They tend to have classrooms back there as well, and so the hallways can go on. You can get lost in there easily enough. But they drive you to this opera house, and you are dropped off with them, and the drivers go away. You to a man or woman, actually. In Helen's case, they're ghouls. They each lead you inside and around, back, and down. And there's an elevator at the back, one of those double door service elevators with the wide platforms and the particularly large payloads that it can carry, to carry props and set pieces up and down from a basement storage area or group of basement storage areas. And you head down to the second sub basement. And when it opens, you walk down several hallways and then stop in front of a very nondescript wall. Each of your sires raises and holds what looks to be a key card to a section of that wall that doesn't really look any different than the other. And then a piece of the wall slides away. And you see another hallway with another elevator. And that elevator goes down as well. But there's only one other floor, and it feels like it goes down for a long time. When that door opens, you find yourself in perhaps the most opulent room in Miami. There is, it's probably 3 stories high. You see stairs leading up to balconies with private rooms and booths, and there's a dance floor in the middle of the ground floor. There's already people milling about, probably 60, maybe 70 that you can see. Crystal chandeliers everywhere. The dress is just this shy of pornographic. Men, women displaying skin. You see around the room various people tied up and against a wall. Occasionally you'll note one goes over and looks to be drinking from them, and then stops and walks off. You see several tables of food, regular human food. If you wish to partake of that, you can. But as each of your sires brings you into this room, you're struck by the opulence of it all. You'd call it pretentious if it was anybody else. Here, however, this isn't pretentious. This is, you imagine anyway, a show of power. Who's the first to arrive?
I'm with the prince, so
You are last.
excellent.
The prince is always the last to arrive.
I feel like Victor and Helen would probably be the first ones there.
Okay. Helen leads you in, and you see all this. As she does, she grips your forearm tight and says once again, "Don't embarrass me."
Look, I'm just gonna, and he's trying to grin and keep a smile on his face this whole time. I'm just gonna be myself here. So if that embarrasses you, then that's on you. I'm just gonna be me. You know that.
She glances at you for just another moment and slowly releases her hand. Come. And she leads you over to a group of people that are standing around one of those bound humans and periodically taking sips from him. All four of them are wearing suits that you'd call them Armani suits, but they're not. They actually don't have indicating brand names. They do, however, look stupidly expensive.
You guys must have paid a pretty penny for those.
One of them turns and looks at you. This one's actually a woman, and smiles, licks her teeth for a second, and then looks at Helen. Helen, my dear, so glad you could join us. And who is this? And Helen turns and inclines her head. Primogen, this is
Victor Rockwell.
Victor Rockwell. He's the animator I told you about. Ah, yes. Welcome to Elysium, Victor Rockwell. I am Annette Rothford, the head of the Invictus.
Oh, that would explain why his guys' suits are so fancy looking.
Yes, quite.
He turns his head to look at Helen. So what the fuck am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to be doing right now?
Annette chuckles. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself. This is a party after all. I am just another vampire. And the way she says it, you know she's anything but just another vampire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
She
I'm gonna
gestures
go
toward
ahead.
the man. Please, would you like a taste?
Yeah. No.
The prince only brings the very best. And you see this man that's tied up on the wall. He's very, very well built. This is not somebody that just voluntarily ended up there. Somebody had to put him there.
You know what? I'm good. I had a little bit before I left my apartment earlier. I'm
Are
good.
you quite certain?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go over by the food table over there instead for a bit.
Of course. Don't let me hold you up. And she smiles that very conciliatory smile of somebody that just absolutely knows they're better than you. You walk over to the food table.
And as he's walking over there, he kind of clicks his tongue and kind of gives them finger guns, and along with a thumbs up to top it all off.
All right. And who's next? Is that Sage or is that Charlotte?
I think Sage would arrive close to the beginning, mostly because Raphael is inclined to arrive early. Sage is wearing a pink velvet jacket, sort of almost mauve. It's a very light pink with a shirt underneath that is sort of a silver, has a sort of silver color to it. It's textured, it's open. Underneath that is a sheer white shirt that is buttoned, 3 buttons in the middle. They're wearing black pants that fit pretty close, but aren't like skinny jean tight or anything. They're wearing black Chelsea boots and a black hat, sort of raggedy around the edges. Very sort of distressed, pre-distressed by the designer. They have a silver and some sort of crystal choker around the neck that actually drapes down on down the front and then over their shoulder about an extra 1.5 feet. And there is on their hat, on the front of their hat, there is a black net veil covering their face.
All right.
And as they walk in, they see everything going on and they say, this looks, it's kind of fun. Raphael, you didn't tell me it was going to be a good party.
I'm sure Cassius mentioned it.
Maybe he did. Ooh, snap. And just flutters off without even waiting for Raphael over to a young woman that is, I guess, sort of hanging out at the feeding station, ready to provide delicious sustenance to my kind.
All right.
And I pull back the veil and start chatting her up.
Okay. Sorry, are you actually speaking to the kind or are you speaking to another vampire? Just want to make sure I understand correctly.
To the food.
To the food, okay. As you begin talking, you immediately recognize that they're drugged. First-hand experience, you know.
Okay.
Now it's not overly drugged, but it's one of those. All right, we're going to give you a little something to help you be more compliant.
Okay. how's your night?
She looks up kind of with a bleary expression in her eyes, and then a smile crosses her face. It's amazing.
That's so good. I'm really glad. I
You're
would
kind of
like
cute.
to. Sure. Yeah, that's true. I think I'm gonna kiss you if that's all right.
I'd like that.
Sage leans forward and does not kiss her on the mouth, but instead goes to her neck, and their fangs extend, and they very gently sink their fangs into her neck.
She gasps and sighs, and then she just sort of goes limp in your arms. The taste hits you, and it's like straight heroin. It's so good. You almost don't taste the actual drugs that they used, but it's still there's still a little bit on the tongue, right? To where you can even as you drink, you can feel something trying to work at you to make you compliant. And it's not that it has any effect. It's not nearly what it would take to deal with a vampire that way. But if you had been human, you'd probably be tied up just like her, and be happy to do so.
Because there's so many others to sample from, but yeah, I take just a little sip, and then I close the wound, and then I give her a little kiss on the cheek, and I say, "Thank you so much. That was beautiful."
She smiles up at you again, and you can see the smile drooping just a little bit, like she's having difficulty holding the muscle to smile, like she's tired.
Mhm.
Come back soon. Your eyes are really pretty.
Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, and I just sort of like run fingers through her hair, and sort of stop at her jawbone, and I say, "You should probably sit down." Uh, and then I just turn and walk away. And I look for someone interesting to talk to.
Okay. You find someone. He appears to be some kind of an athlete, perhaps. Very, very tall, very chiseled, but not a basketball player, not a boxer or anything like that. As you talk to him, you find out that he runs marathons. Or at least he did. And you start chatting, and he tells you about places he's run. He's done races in Miami and New York and Cairo, Egypt, and Japan, and Dusseldorf, Germany,
Oh.
and shares with you what those places were like.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Caro,
Hello.
Cressida is there at 8 o'clock precisely to bring you. Are you ready on time?
No.
Okay. How late is late?
She lets her in, like, to the apartment and just a second, I have to finish. The shoes need buckling, the hair needs curling. It will take 1 second. And it becomes immediately clear that she really downplayed her outfit, in the hopes that she would outshine Cressida. She's wearing a completely bodycon, skin-tight, gold sequin dress. She's tanned her legs with whatever pores are remaining, and like really just dressed to the nines. Miami's hottest.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
I do.
This is just, it was my prom fit. I got dress coded, but it's a good time.
You know, high school is so concerned with the stupidest things.
Yeah.
This is very, very, very you. I enjoy it a lot.
Thank you. You look nice. This turquoise,
Thank
it's
you.
like so vintage.
Well, I am a little old-fashioned, even as young as we are, you know?
Lovely. Here, and she holds out a bow for her hair. Can you tie this in the back?
Yes, of course. And she goes and she ties it. Are you looking or no?
No.
Okay. Are you ready? Shall we leave?
I think so. Is there anyone that I should totally make a point to introduce myself to, or just everybody?
At some point, the prince will want to make your acquaintance. Beyond that, perhaps, the Invictus Primogen, since she runs our merry little band.
I can manage that. And she, as they're walking out, she puts on like a very bright red lipstick.
Okay. You are not the only ones to arrive late. You actually, when you go down the elevator, you are with another couple. These two are how do I put this? These two are not dressed to the nines. In fact, you see them. They're what your dress could be if you left it outside in a rainstorm and then a tornado, and maybe got some hail on it as well. The dresses are just, or her dress, I should say, is very, very weathered, and she's wearing something like a full floor length cloak cape. The guy next to her is dressed quite a bit better, but still not, not rich or anything like that. It's perhaps a secondhand suit, but his shirt is unbuttoned a little bit, and the suit and the sleeves of his shirt don't really fit him very well because his arms are so long. So no one's actually looking at the suit; they're looking at the muscles on this guy, and there are a lot of them. He's got kind of a light brown, wavy haircut, 3, 4, 5 inches long hair, swept back, just very, very loose fitting around his head. The rest of him is plain, you'd say, but there's a scar right across his right cheek, and it, you wouldn't say it ruins, but it mars what otherwise would probably be a darn near perfect face, at least by worldly standards. They look at you, and both of them appear to be praising Cressida and you. And then the girl turns to Cressida and says, "Well, my dear, I hadn't realized that you'd found yourself a child."
We're more like sisters.
I see. And you are?
You can call me Lottie. What was your name?
Lottie. That's very quaint. I like it.
Thank you.
You can call me Rosalie.
Rosalie.
She
Lovely.
reaches out her hand to shake yours.
She does so, and then pulls out her bag. There is a lipstick color that I think would look perfect on your skin tone. Can I have some? I don't want to be weird, but I think it would just look gorgeous on you.
Before you do that, I would like you to make what is going to be the first roll of the game.
Okay.
If you would please roll wits and let's do this as wits plus investigation. And remember, you're looking for an 8, 9, or a 10. If it's a 10, you can roll it again.
I'm so sorry. Can you quickly say how to do that in Forge?
Okay. So in Forge, what you're going to do in the chat section down below public roll, click what looks like the little dice thingy next to where it says public roll. You're going to increase the dice pool to whatever your wits plus your composure or your investigation is.
Okay.
However many dots that is. And then make sure the 10 again is checked, and then roll it. Okay. No successes. Interesting. You shake her hand, and then you ask that question. She looks at you. She kind of cocks her head to the side and looks at you for a second. And then as she raises an eyebrow, she says, "Sure. Let's see this color of yours."
Sure. She pulls out a like deep mauve, like almost if you're a makeup person, a Clinique Black Honey. It's an everyone shade. And holds it out to her. You know.
She looks at it for a second, kind of turns it in her hand, and then slowly starts applying it to her lips.
Isn't that lovely? She looks to the gentleman. Isn't it lovely?
It is indeed. Although it will be off her later. And he smiles, and she grins back at him, and then hands the makeup back to you. "Thank you, dear."
Of course. It was a pleasure to meet you, Rosalie.
"Likewise, Lottie." The door opens, and she strides in. As she walks past a group of people off to your right as you walk in, one of them turns and bows, taking her hand and kissing the back of it. She too appears to be wearing some sort of full-length, floor-length cloak.
Charlotte looks at Cressida to see if she has won any approval.
Cressida blinks and watches the woman walk away, and then she starts chuckling. You just gave the witch Primogen a makeover.
And she looked lovely, did she not?
Oh, dear God, I've got to tell somebody about this. I don't even know who to tell.
Well, seems like there's plenty of people here. Are we to stay together, or could I?
I will come and find you should it be necessary. Otherwise, enjoy your time.
Thank you, darling.
And she does that air kiss, around your cheeks, and then wanders off. It's about an hour after the party starts when the elevator doors haven't opened for 5 or 10 minutes. And they open up one more time, and you see 3 people in them. Walking out first is a tall, and by tall I mean about 6'3", dark-skinned man with close cropped dark hair. He is wearing a deep purple t-shirt with no tie, no coat, and it is unbuttoned almost down to his navel. Hanging from his neck in between the flaps of the shirt, you see a gold chain that ends in a ruby that is clutched in what looks to be almost a claw. The ruby itself is, I don't know, if you tighten your finger or whatever, it's about that big. So maybe 3 inches across by 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Easily, if you had to value it, this thing's probably easy $1 million. Leather pants and boots. Let's see here, Charlotte, you're fairly fashionable. How about you, Sage? Would you call yourself fashionable as well? Like knowing of fashion?
Oh, of course. Sage knows all about a lot of different fashion lines.
Okay, both of you make a wits plus investigation as well. Okay, 2 successes for you, Charlotte.
Okay. How do you do that again?
So if you click the dice
Thought I understood.
next to the public roll, down at the very bottom of the chat section, right?
Okay.
Then increase the number of dice to whatever your pool should be. Make sure the 10 again is rolled or checked, and then click roll.
Okay. Nope.
Okay. Charlotte, as you're looking, you notice that the man is wearing boots, and they're meant to look like cowboy boots, but they're not. Um, the rest of his clothing is impeccable, extremely tasteful, probably very, very expensive, but these shoes look cheap. With him is another man who is wearing what looks to be a duster, underneath which sits the man under a hat. Think Crocodile Dundee, that style of hat without the teeth. It is also black. And as he moves out of the elevator, you see a sword at his belt. He is fairer skinned, hair peeking out from underneath the hat. It's not particularly long, but it's not cropped short. And he moves with all the grace of a hunting cat. On the arm of the first one, you notice a young lady. And what does she look like?
She's got long blue-black hair and is wearing a black slinky dress and has some skin exposed, particularly around the chest, but her legs are completely covered. I am not fashion conscious, so I don't know what it's in an X. A lot of
It's a
skin
bandage
from yes, that it's a bandage top. There we go.
That's okay. I wouldn't have known either.
I'm a t-shirt and jeans girl, but she's sexy. She is walking out like she's the sexiest female at the party. And humming a faint rock tune.
You see standing next to the elevator one of those other individuals, the ones in suits that appear to be working the party. And he steps forward and speaks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prince Dakari Rahman, his sheriff, Imani Jobert, and Miss Kimberly McKnight. The dark-skinned man steps forward, spreads his hands, and smiles a bright white smile. Friends, kindred, welcome. Welcome to Elysium. I am very, very glad that you join us here to celebrate our afterlife. Please and he gestures to the room in general. The lights here are for you. We celebrate you. Each and every one of you makes this city greater by your presence. Thank you for staying during what I no doubt feel has been to you some very turbulent times. I thank you for your trust and assure you that better days are coming, and this city has nowhere to go but up. Please enjoy yourselves. And he kind of inclines his head and then turns back and holds out his arm for Kimberly. And yeah.
Kimberly will follow him around.
He begins to make his way around the room, stopping at every single group and addressing each person in that group by name. He knows them all. Stopping 5 or 10 feet behind him, the sheriff follows them both as well. He does not speak. He just looks to be watching. Rusty, Caro, Jeff, you all see this. Are you doing anything about it? Are you doing anything different? Or are you just going to keep on doing what you're doing?
Victor's just going to keep trying to fill his face. You know, he doesn't need the human food, but it's nice to be reminded of it every once in a while.
Okay. As a side note, remember that if you are eating human food, in order to do that, you and not throw it right back up, you need to be blushing life. That's 1 vitae.
You said 1 vitae?
Yes.
How does that go again?
And where's the vitae?
It's on disciplines.
Oh,
All right. Well, then, yeah, I'll... And you said it's only 1 vitae, right?
Yeah, it's only 1 vitae, and it lasts the entire scene.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's just kind of stuffing his face full of human food at the moment.
Okay. Caro, what are you doing?
Charlotte absolutely wants to introduce herself to the prince, but she notices that he's walking through and seems to have at least some kind of a pattern, a system that he's going through. So she kind of situates herself on the outskirts of the next party he looks to be speaking with, so that she can hopefully catch him, not alone, but with the sheriff without other kindreds.
Okay. He makes his way through another group, and you that group, you see him talking to, it's 5 people. All of them are wearing nicer, what you'd call street clothes. Not jeans, but slacks. Not suits, but shirts and ties and coats. They don't all match, and one of them appears to be speaking more than the others. You catch snippets of that conversation, and it's talking about the waterfront area, and some of the things that are happening there. The prince kind of inclines his head and reaches out and pats this guy on the shoulder, and he says, "Excellent work. I look forward to hearing about it in our next meeting." And he turns and he starts moving away, and he sees you and walks over to you.
Oh, hello. What a lovely party. Thank you for hosting.
Of course, my dear, of course. And how are you, Miss DeLaquer?
She's surprised that he knows her name. I'm well, still getting used to the new inclinations, but well.
Of course, it does take some time, yes. But you do have people around you that are willing to help. And he kind of gestures at the rest of the room to a certain extent.
I'm very glad. It seems like you may have people around willing to help as well, and she very pointedly looks at Kimberly. I'm Charlotte.
It's a
You can call
pleasure
me
to
Lottie.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Lottie. Please call me Kimmy.
Kimmy. We come from a nickname generation, I think.
We do indeed. He's very official, but I adore him anyways.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet both of you. Kimmy, I've seen you
Likewise.
before. Do you perform somewhere nearby?
I do. I am the lead singer of Dusk Crush. Perhaps you've heard of us.
I have. It's very hush hush. The people are interested that you're not seemingly on most social media accounts. I'm a bit of a fan.
Oh, that is wonderful. But actually, I am having an idea. My prince, would you mind excusing us so that I can have a conversation with dear Lottie?
Of course, my dear. And he stops and he kind of looks at her and then looks at Lottie. Why don't? Yes, you remember that I wished to meet with you and some others. Why don't you have Charlotte come with you at 10 o'clock? You know where.
Of course, I would be delighted.
Excellent.
Anything you want.
And he turns and walks off with a smile. His arms fold behind him, and it's very, very regal. He's not in a hurry to go anywhere. He's just strolling.
He's quite a catch, isn't he?
My sire is a wonderful man. And she waits another beat and then sighs. He's a bit much at times, though. But I have business with you, and you have business with me. So walk with me, talk with me. I am having an idea.
Charlotte loops her arm in with Kimberly's. Very well, go on. I'm all for brainstorms.
Then Kimberly will start leading her around, and so you, obviously by your dress and your exquisite makeup are very much into the fashionista business. Am I not correct?
You have a keen eye, I'll say. Why?
How would you be interested in a bit more risque of a job?
It depends on what the job is.
My band and I have been looking for a new artist since our last one tragically met their unfortunate end. Perhaps you'd be interested.
I'd be happy to give it a whirl once we can look over some more particulars.
Of course, after all, contracts make the everything so much better, don't they?
Safer, I'd say. But far be it for me to deny the prince's pet anything.
No, I won't do that. He'd get most ruffled about it. But yes, I suppose in a way I am his pet.
Pet name. Let's be clear. It's all in good fun. But I'd be
Of course.
happy to. I so want to meet the rest of Dust Crush.
Oh,
Tell me
they'd
when it
be delighted to meet someone like you. We've been looking for someone new for quite a bit. After all, we are not who we are without our fans.
I'm in.
The prince makes his way through several more groups and ends up with Sage. He stops and he holds out his hand kind of as a almost like a camera, and he's looking at you. Now, isn't that an outfit with flair? I like it. And you can almost see the fangs drop a little bit.
Yeah, it was, I got it off of some trust fund kid. How are you tonight? The prince, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes,
I'm
of
doing quite
course.
well. Are you enjoying the festivities?
Oh yeah, I had a little sip from a young woman, and it was nice. Kind of got me a little lightheaded. Um,
Youth often does that.
I
It's very, very heady stuff, almost like the wines of old. I remember when France first started becoming famous for its wines. They were more creative then than they are now, but some of that stuff would really, really turn ahead and cause one to forget himself if you weren't careful.
Oh, so you're really old.
And he
It's
looks
hard to
almost
tell.
worried. Does it show? And then he smiles at his own
Uh,
joke.
it's I'm new to all of this. So I really haven't gotten used to talking to people who are very old. I don't know, it's really strange. It's nice. You still look good though. It's,
Well, thank you. And then he kind of runs his hand down his front, straightening his shirt. You know, my child, and I would like to speak with you, I believe. Um, he kind of turns and looks for a second and then points her out, and she's walking with another woman. Um, the one there with the colorful hair, delightfully decadent dress there. Um, why don't you seek her out around 10 o'clock? And she'll bring you back to me. We can have a conversation in private.
Oh, okay. I'd be happy to.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Thorn. We welcome you to our all-night society.
Thank you. I do a sort of little half bow. And then as he is walking away, I would like to use Auspex, the uncanny perception discipline.
Okay, go ahead and read what that does. Just so everybody
Let's
knows.
see. You focus on a single target, and your beast sniffs out the victim's dark secrets. And how it works is based on how many successes I get, or if I get a success, etc.
Okay. So that's going to be a contested roll. So you're going to roll, I believe, the number of dots that you have in that discipline.
This one actually is not contested.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking to see. But yeah, there's no, it's just dice pool, intelligence, empathy, and auspex. There's no tested
Okay.
thing.
So go ahead and roll
Looking for
that.
the thing. Well, perhaps it is. How does contested work? Some of these have a negative to the roll, like the other person's stat. It diminishes my ability. So maybe it is contested. How does a contest work?
So you roll your dice pool, and I roll a different dice pool. Okay. And
okay.
Whoever gets more successes.
Contested. Okay. Cool. All right, then yeah, I do think it would be contested. Intelligence, empathy, aspects. Closed. 2, 5, 8. Okay. Okay, so I've got 4 successes. Yeah.
Okay. So you look with your beast. You kind of turn inward and allow that dark part of you to come forward. And it looks at the prince. And what you see is another beast about twice as large as yours. And it kind of rises up on its haunches, its legs and flexes, and yours cowers. But as you look, you see the claws of his beast are dripping with blood.
Okay. there are some questions I can ask if I succeed.
Okay.
So did you roll?
I did. And you did. Don't ask me how you succeeded when he's rolling as many dice as he is, but you did.
You're scrappy,
Okay.
Sage.
Hey, take you can get it.
Let's see. I can ask you one question per success.
Then you can ask me 2 questions.
Damn.
Your answer should include imagery conjured by the beast to convey the answer, rather than sense, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. What is this person's vice?
You see your beast sees, excuse me, a vast pile of loose leaf paper. Most of it appears to be shredded, not like a shredder would, like a crosscut shredder or anything like that, but like with claws, right? So some of it is actually in full strips, and others it's like the claws got the middle of the page and cut it. So part of the page is in strips, and the rest is together, right? Each of those pages looks to have writing on it. But when I say a pile, I'm not talking like, a 2 or 3 foot pile. This is a room or even a several room sized pile of paper.
Okay. So a small mountain of paper that has writing on it, and it's all just torn asunder. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And who here does this person want to hurt the most?
Ooh.
Boy, you're not pulling any punches, are you? Okay.
Why would I do that?
Your beast sees what looks to be a large estate. Mansion level building. It's nighttime. There are very dim lights on the property. You see through curtained windows, you see some movement. And you get this overwhelming sense of not hatred, but irritation. Perhaps bordering on jealous irritation.
Okay. If I look around the room, do I get a sense of who this might be?
No.
Okay. All right. That's all.
Okay. Last but not least, he spends another half an hour going through other parties. And then he moves over to the table where the food's at. And he stands next to Rusty. Excuse me, next to Victor. He kind of cocks his head to the side. And says, well, now, Mr. Rockwell, we have so much more appetizing sustenance. And yet here you are, and in close to an hour, I've not seen you leave this table. Are you quite all right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just fucking peachy.
I see. He turns and looks at in across the room, I'll say, and you can't help but follow his gaze, and you see Helen staring at you. It's very much a look of warning and of fear. He turns and he looks back at you and he says, I see your sire is leaving something to be desired.
You're telling me, hey, look, if they weren't, I mean, I wouldn't even be around if it weren't for a legally binding contract. So,
Yes, our First Estate does love their contracts. Well, I cannot undo what has been done, but perhaps I may assist you. And he turns and he points, and you see a young woman in a bandaged top dress with some very colored hair. So, do you see that lovely young lady over there?
yeah, what about it?
When it becomes 10 o'clock, go and find her and tell her that I told you to come with her. I'd like to speak to you a little bit in private about a way that you could perhaps assist me and allow me to assist you.
Look, if it'll help get me out from under, her thumb, then yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Perhaps, young Mr. Rockwell. Perhaps. And he reaches out and he pats your shoulder. The beast in you is scared out of its mind. Please enjoy the party. Try all of the delights. They're here for you. They're here for all of you.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Yeah. Sure. Will do.
And he wanders off. It is 4:41. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be back here in about 10 or 15 minutes and rejoin our friends at the Ziff Opera House and find out what the prince wants with them. Thank you for joining us so far, and we'll see you in just a few. Welcome back to Vice City, Gateway to Sin. We appreciate you sticking with us. I am Josh Wallace, the storyteller here, and we've got our cast, and we are in Elysium having a party because, we're vampires, damn it, and we're going to have a fun time in the afterlife. So, you have each met the prince. You've been talking to different people, unless you're Victor, who's been hiding over by the food table, actively avoiding anything vampiric, because, why not? And let's start with, Kimberly. What are you doing?
Perfect timing, just when I take a bite of food.
Oh,
Are you sure you weren't a waiter or a waitress in the past life?
No, I'm not sure. I may very well have been.
All right, I am still with Lottie. So I'm going to start making our way towards the food table with her, and then as we approach, I'm going to flush with life.
So go ahead and take a Vitae.
Yep. And I'm going to lean over towards Lottie and says, he has some of this stuff flown in. He likes to spend money. Please let us. Yes, please let us feast together.
He wastes all this money on human food?
But the kind love it when we feed them.
Here, watch this. And are they nearby any of the tied up people?
Absolutely. They're all over.
Perfect. Are there any that look like younger men? Not like young, but like around Charlotte's age?
About half of them, yeah.
Great. She picks one that looks more lucid or a little bit more aware, steps over to him and whispers, "Are you okay?"
Yes, maybe.
Yeah?
You're really pretty.
I know it. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you out of this. Here. And she leans forward and kisses him on the forehead. And there's a bright red kiss mark on his forehead. Can I try something? I think this might help.
Sure. And he gets kind of a goofy looking grin on his face.
And she bends down to his neck and sinks her teeth into him.
He lets out a low, deeply aroused groan.
She is disgusted internally, but playing the part pretty well. When she finally needs to come up for air, she kisses him again on the cheek and then again on the other cheek, so his face is just covered in lipstick. And then goes and gets him a little like pastry Danish, one of the most expensive, delicate things from the table, and holds it up to his mouth. Eat.
He slowly opens it like you just drugged him, and quite frankly, you did. And he takes a bite of the pastry, and like, if you look into his eyes, it looks like his head just exploded. The euphoria of the kiss combined with the extremely adeptly made pastry and the confluence of flavors in it and stuff like that, just it melts this guy's mind. Oh, that's good.
At this, she steps back and like gives the most horrified, disgusted look. Ew. What did you just do?
Got a kiss and a pastry.
Ugh. And she gets up and walks back to Kimmy. Aren't they fun?
Yes.
The two of you notice after you've spent a little bit of time eating, there's another guy at the table that really hasn't moved since you've been there. He's kind of down at the end of the table, and he looks like he's desperation eating.
You see that guy?
Yes.
Who is that?
I have no idea. Do you want to know them?
Should we?
Well, he is a bit of a fashion disaster. And she's just Kimmy's gonna be like lazily just swirling strawberries and chocolate and slowly nibbling them, just savoring every bite.
There is not enough room in Charlotte's dress to eat any of this, so she is not. But she walks over to Victor and like slides her arm around him as she settles down next to him.
Okay.
You haven't moved from this spot.
Yeah.
This utterly gorgeous woman walks over to you, Victor, and slides her arm around you.
Yeah. No, I haven't. You're right.
There's
Like
like a
it's gonna
secret
move to the
question.
other side. That way we're bracketing him.
Yeah, we're flanking him.
Sorry, buddy, you're screwed.
Just coming at him from all angles here.
Why?
Mainly because I ain't wanting to partake in those for the most part. I don't like doing it.
Then you're gonna starve to death.
I'll do it. I just don't like it. I didn't even want to come here in the first place.
Who's your sire?
And he Victor kind of looks around, and his eyes meet Helen's, and he just kind of points directly at her, right over there. Helen Bennett.
Charlotte takes his hand and pushes it down back to the table. It's not polite to point.
He doesn't even bite it. She's my sire, and I really wish she wasn't.
There are ways around that.
Yeah, no, I mean, might have some way around it. I mean, the prince, I don't fucking remember his name, but the prince, he told me to actually, and he looks to his other side. Actually, he told me to find you at around 10 o'clock.
Oh, you poor thing.
But from what he was saying, it seemed like it could be kind of a mutually beneficial thing.
Yes, he is quite fond of those.
Is he fond of Helen? Or I guess I don't know her name. Is he fond of her? And she nods her head more politely.
I couldn't get a read on him. I doesn't seem like it. I mean, he was kind of shit talking her.
You're the animator.
Yeah.
The one
Victor
who does
Rockwell
things the
for,
old-fashioned way.
Studio. Yeah. 2D hand drawn. cell by cell, frame by frame.
Interesting.
And look, I know I don't belong in this place, right?
Of course you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You'd be, well, like the last one.
Yeah.
Oh?
I mean, I'm mainly still talking about this, and he kind of gestures up and down to his outfit. I don't got the
Well-
nice clothes.
We can fix that. There's these things called credit cards. And from somewhere, she's going to pull out a black card.
He doesn't even
Do you trust him?
realize that she's pulling out the card, and he's gonna say, "Well, see, that would require me to actually have money, right? Something
So
I
what
ain't got."
I'm hearing is you need a job.
Caro, you would recognize that card or that kind of card. That's one of the, if you have to ask what the limit is, you can't afford to be with this person.
I used to have one of those cards. Are we sure we trust him to make these choices on his own?
What's that supposed to mean?
I
I was
mean,
thinking we'd take him. And after all, my sire gave me this and told me I needed to dress those around me appropriately.
we can fix him, surely.
We can make him better. We have the technology.
We have the money. What was your name?
Don't you fucking $1 million man me?
Oh, so you want us to leave then?
No,
She kinda twirls her hair.
no,
You want us to
I
go?
didn't say it. No, I did
You
not
sure?
say that. Those words never came out of my mouth.
Kimberly's lower lip is going to quiver, and she's going to give the biggest, most heart wrenching pout. You don't want to be on my arm? After all, I do need an animator for my music videos. I suppose I could go with that company.
See, I never said no. I never said no.
For Hawthorne.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Just don't go with Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
Then I would be delighted to have your company and you working on my music videos. I'm Kimberly McKnight, lead singer of Dusk Crush. Perhaps you've heard of us. Or perhaps not.
Yeah,
We're not
no,
very big yet.
I think I heard some of your stuff before, but I mean, if you're offering, then
I am indeed. After all, us don't really translate well to long-term video exposure. So, old school it a bit with some animated music videos.
I mean, I guess it's a good thing I was never really a camera kind of guy, huh? You want to know the one good thing about this whole situation that's going on with, I guess, all of us now? I'm not getting as many cramps in my wrist anymore.
That's the only good thing about this situation for you?
Yeah, that doing my passion don't hurt no more.
Which one of these do you think is most attractive?
God.
He points down the line at the blood bags. What do you think's prettiest?
What do you mean?
Who do you find the most attractive of this line?
Don't answer that. It's a trap.
Don't answer it, please. It'll be fun.
See, I have a feeling that no matter what I answer, it's gonna be wrong.
No, you're right, darling. Come on, it's not a trick.
He's kind of looking down the line, and he points to one directly in the center of it. That one, right over there. The muscles and everything.
Charlotte grabs a goblet from the table and winks at him. Be right back. Walks over and, without speaking to this person, cuts their wrist and gathers the blood in a goblet, seals the wound, and then returns. Drink.
That's
Do
how
I look
feel.
unsure?
Victor contemplates for a second, and then reaches out for the goblet and just fucking downs it.
Oh, look, he can be house trained.
He can do it. This guy sure thinks a lot, doesn't he?
Take your vitae back, by the way.
Alright. What's so wrong? What's wrong with thinking?
There is thinking, and then there's overthinking. And you seem to be traipsing rapidly down the ladder, which will only get you in trouble in the end. He who hesitates is lost.
Look, the last time I made an impulsive decision, I got saddled with her.
What was the decision?
Okay, you know how Rockwell Studios went down the drain? Have you heard about that whole scenario? I was kind of looking for any way to get back up and running. And she offered a joint business venture of sorts. And he does massive air quotes around joint business venture. And I
you
kind of
believed
just,
her.
I
You're
did.
so
I
adorable.
just rushed into it. Didn't even read the contract. I just signed my John Hancock right on there, and that's where I am now today.
So it's a
My
contract that got you in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Sweet summer child.
Can I quickly remind you that you did just agree to take her job?
What do you mean?
She asked if you wanted a job as an animator. You said yes. You don't even know the pay. You don't know the terms. Maybe you should stick with us.
Stick with us, and you'll never go wrong.
I didn't say that.
You know
No,
what?
my sire gets a giggle every time I go by.
You two might got a point there. Yeah, fine. Fuck it, I'll join. I don't see why not.
You're cute, but not my type. Perhaps Lottie would like a whirl on the animator stick.
I've not said no.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm ready for anything like that yet, but been a hot minute.
Charlotte has grown bored and is looking through to see if there are other people walking past.
Sage walks up around this time and says, "Hi. I was told to come introduce myself to you." Sort of leans around everyone and points to Kimberly. By the prince, I think. You're supposed to take me somewhere at 10.
Yeah, I was
I
told
do.
the same thing here, pal.
I know where he wants me to take you. We will go
Oh,
promptly at
Kimmy.
10. It's going to be
Oh,
fantastic. I have no idea what we're going to be doing, but he told me that when he sent people my way, I was to bring them to a specific location.
Kimmy, I thought this was a
okay.
private engagement.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I thought this was a private engagement.
We can let them join in. It'll be fun.
Charlotte gives Sage a real
No,
up and down.
no, I don't. I don't think that would be fun. And then I look at Victor and I say, "Why did you choose that?"
Nicest
And I
thing I
point to
own.
the jacket.
Yeah, nicest thing I own.
Oh,
Don't worry, we're going to
it's
fix
not
it.
about what you own. It's about what you wear, darling.
Yeah.
That's choice. You just made a whole choice, and acting like you didn't have one. How long have you
It's
been a
either a
vampire?
few months.
Okay, so enough time to acclimate. I'm just saying, um, there are more flattering things to wear and less tacky things to wear.
Look, it was either
But
this
that's
or
okay.
my look. But it was either this or my T-shirt that has a tuxedo printed on it, and Helen would kick my fucking ass if I wore that.
Oh,
Well, you
there.
I'm
could have already
surprised
shown up
she
naked.
didn't. That would have been an improvement.
Yeah.
Well, hi, my name is Sage, and that's all I have to say about that.
Hi,
I
Sage.
mean,
So what say we head
You're
out of here a little bit early and go shopping?
if you're paying,
Well, Daddy Dearest
no, hold
is.
on. We don't even have to leave. Watch. And I walk over to one of the more well dressed blood bags.
None of them are dressed.
Oh, that's disappointing. Then never mind. I just
Well, their clothes have to
say,
be
okay,
somewhere around
fine.
here. They didn't show up naked.
This is also true.
I am going to go to one of the men in suits and politely request them bring me a suit that would fit my newfound friend.
Okay. I'm assuming you're taking Victor over with you.
Yes.
So the man.
I'm kind of just dragging him along behind me.
Okay. So the man kind of looks Victor over. Not nearly as disapprovingly as Caro and Sage do, but even him, right? And he's just quote unquote staff looks at Victor and has this sort of, oh, really, kind of
You poor
a
thing.
look on his face, and he says, "Very well. I think I think I can do that.
Thank
Pants
you, Derek.
too.
Please. Thank you, Derek. You are a gem.
All right. You're welcome, ma'am." And he turns and he leaves.
so you think this will fit me?
Of course, he'll bring clothes that'll fit you. That's his job.
I don't know. I ain't one for them fancy get-ups though. That's the whole reason I don't own anything too fancy.
The only people who can't pull off fashion are people who don't believe that they can pull off fashion. And do you know why that is?
Enlighten me.
It's because they don't have the imagination. I overheard them say that you're an animator. That sounds like a creative shield to me.
Yeah,
Don't you
I,
have some imagination for that? I think perhaps if you just get over yourself, maybe you would feel comfortable in anything that you choose to put on. And maybe you could even pull this look off a little better.
I'd like for you to pull this look off.
Nobody's gonna pull this look off. I'm just kidding. But
Off of this person.
I could maybe do that. Consent is key, but not entirely necessary.
let's just worry about the clothes for right now, okay?
Okay.
About a half an hour later, the man comes back with a black suit and black pants, pressed and with that sheen. He walks over to you, Kimberly, and kind of presents the outfit to you. Says, "Does this meet with your approval, ma'am?" In the coat pocket, there is a blood red handkerchief sticking out as well.
It's absolutely perfect. I knew you were the right man for the job, and I'm going to hand him a goblet of fresh blood.
You're too kind, ma'am.
Perhaps, but those who do me such excellent service only deserve my own service in return. I wouldn't be anywhere I am without you.
He lifts the goblet to his lips and drains it.
Yeah, I figure it's like one of the really hot chicks that's like healthy and yeah.
Thank
His
you.
favorite flavor. Oh.
Typo, yeah.
Sage leans over to Victor and says, I don't know why everybody drinks out of goblets. It's just goblets all the time.
I mean, it
Well,
probably to not get your clothes all messed up. I mean, look, those two are pretty fancy looking. They look like them kinds of socialites. So
yeah. Well, at least you'll look like sort of a socialite funeral director now. Just
You have his suit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand it to Victor. You well, I don't know if you're into exhibitionism, so you may strip here, or we can ask Charlie over there to escort you to a place to change quickly. The choice is yours.
As a reminder, there are several private rooms on each floor just available.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to wander around a place I've never been by myself with 3 people I just met.
yeah, you know,
here,
what,
I'll show you.
get me somewhere private. I'd rather change alone.
Oh, I'm
I'll
not
show
gonna
you
lie to
where
you,
they
Chef.
are. Come on. And I just grab his arm and I pull him toward one of the private rooms that I have used in last week I was in attendance for. And then I just open the door to check to see if there's anyone in there. And
There
when there's
actually
not, I
is.
frown.
There are
Oh.
3.
What a gift.
Okay. I open it and I say,
they're
"Oh,
yes.
excellent. Victor, go ahead." And I just kind of shove him in and close the door behind him.
Hey, wait. Victor kind of just presses himself back up.
Oh dear God. Okay, Victor, there are 3 people in this room.
He's gonna.
They're all female, and They're all enjoying themselves thoroughly.
He's gonna turn around and then slowly turn back towards the door and go to jingle the knob there, just trying to jiggle it, trying to just no, thank you.
Are you holding the knob?
Sage would open the door just a crack, and I am so sorry, but Sage will say to you, just change your clothes. And I'm going to use mesmerize to just get you to like hurry up and change your clothes. And so that will be, let me see how this works. Mesmerize. Where is dominate? There it is. Mesmerize is intelligence plus expression plus dominate versus resolve and blood potency. So you roll resolve and blood potency.
Where do I find the blood potency again?
Unless you increase your blood potency 1. Unless you spent 5 to increase it, you're just blood potency 1. So, and I will do close 1.
You said it's resolve and blood potency?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 5. And
All right, Sage, tell us what that looks like, what that feels like.
you are afflicted with the memorized condition, which is good for you because you get a beat when you resolve it. And that means you are oh, well, no, you just take bashing or lethal damage to resolve it, or experience a breaking point as part of my command. The condition fades naturally after a scene. So yeah, just tell you, just change your clothes, and then I shut the door.
Yeah, okay. And Victor turns back around and kind of just walks into at least like the corner of the room to change.
The women have stopped and they're looking at you. They're not moving towards you. They're just like curious.
What are y'all staring at me for? You never seen guys change before?
Of course. Go on.
So
they're all completely in a state of undress. So yeah, I mean, there's no shame here.
Yeah, even so, Victor is still kind of avoiding eye contact with any of them while getting changed into his new suit. And he finally finishes. He's tying up the tie real nice and snug on his neck there.
You hear a tittering giggle from one of them.
Can I help you?
He's cute.
Look, I ain't that interested right now. Okay, it's maybe some other time.
I wasn't inviting. I just said you were cute.
Right? Yeah. Sorry. And he kind of points towards the door and just
Now
walk.
run along. We were busy.
Victor's gonna just make his way out of the door as quick as he can, just kind of shutting it as as hard as he can behind him. Why?
He walks back out and he looks absolutely a different man. He is still not that classically handsome, but he cleans up very, very well.
That's much better.
Why did it have to be that room?
Dr. Sage.
Because it was closest.
You couldn't have just shoved me into a room that nobody else was in?
It was closest. Anyway, you look much better. Let's go.
It is about 10 o'clock. So if you want to take them upstairs on the third floor, there is a door, an obvious door that has no handle on it. You walk up to it and knock.
Yep. Kimberly will do her standard.
The door opens and it doesn't look like anybody opened it. And you hear from inside, "Come in, my child."
Yes, Messiah. I'm going to lead them in.
I presume the three of you follow.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are 4 high-backed, overstuffed easy chairs that are set in something of a semicircle, facing a desk, behind which sits the prince in a very similar chair that's on wheels, one of those swiveling office chairs. Standing behind him against the window is the sheriff. The prince looks at each of you and then settles a smile onto his face. That same bright white teeth-laden smile. He says, "Welcome. I'm so glad you've come. Are you all acquainted?"
Quite.
Yeah, as acquainted as we can be.
"Victor, you look marvelous. Much, much better. It suits you." Get it? It suits you?
Yeah.
And he kind of chuckles at his own joke, almost like dad jokes are so retro, you know?
Victor kind of lets out a soft chuckle too. Yeah, no, I know. I get it, Princey.
I have something of a problem, and I'm hoping the 4 of you can assist me with it.
Yes.
You see, running a city full of vampires, mages, werewolves, and he kind of sneers a little bit and says, "hunters," takes a lot of time, takes a lot of focus. And quite frankly, I'm busy most of the time. My sheriff here has other duties to which I've assigned him, and I have something that needs to be looked into. On the University of Miami campus, there are a few missing persons that I need you to investigate. At the moment, I I don't see any evidence of any vampiric missteps, but I find that my life is much easier if I know everything that goes on in my city. With my sheriff and his hounds, who I would normally send to investigate this, occupied with other things, I find myself in need of someone to do this for me. I understand that the four of you, well, obviously my child, but the three of you have all recently become members of our little family. This seems a task well within your capabilities. Would you be able to go and investigate for me and return and tell my sheriff what has happened?
Of course, my sire. Anything you wish.
I don't see why not.
Pleased for the opportunity.
What are you find?
You broke up there, Jeff.
What do you hope we'll find?
Honestly, I would prefer it to be a simple case of kidnapping or murder or something like that among the kind. But I've found that assumption is not always the best thing in any given situation. The two you're looking for, students, are one Reina Gutierrez, a natural studies and horticulture student, and a Paul Dean, who is an English major there. Find out what happened to them, and then report back to my sheriff.
I mean, seems simple enough.
Are they human?
Yes, at least as far as I know.
Why are we worried about some missing human?
Because if it does turn out to have been one of us, I need to know if there's been a violation of the masquerade.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Do I get paid for this?
Jackie.
You know, yeah, I was wondering the same thing. We getting paid for this?
His smile turns into a smirk, in a manner of speaking.
Is that manner of speaking money?
Not exactly.
Oh no, it's exposure.
Oh, I fucking hate working for exposure.
Well, when Prince asks a favor, you do a favor, I guess.
He reaches into his pocket and pulls out 4 items, slowly setting them on the table and spreading them out in a fan. The sound that they make as they hit the table is that of plastic clinking on glass, as the wood desk that he's sitting at is covered with a sheet of glass. The 4 items look exactly like the cards that each of your sires used to let you into Elysium. Presuming that you are successful, you will each receive your own admittance to this place.
Is there any way I could get my own haven instead? My sire just lives. It was fun first, but he's just so filthy all the time.
He looks at Kimberly. Is he serious? I can never quite tell.
I'm not gonna be sarcastic with you. I'm just gonna tell you how I feel. My sire's haven is disgusting. Fine, I accept admittance to Elysium in exchange for this favor. And I will just have to continue trying to find my own place to get out of the squalor of my sire's disgusting roach nest.
The smile broadens on his lips. Excellent. I'm glad we understand each other. And he collects the cards and he puts them back in his pocket. I look forward to hearing what you find. Now, if you don't mind, I have another guest.
Thank you, my sire, my prince. I'm sure we'll come back with news soon.
And he gestures towards the door.
Thank you,
I'm going to lead
Prince.
him right back out.
All right, we'll be back with info for you later, Princey.
Don't call him that.
As you open the door, you see another man in what looked to be very opulent robes. Cripe. Brushing past him causes the hair on your body to stand up, almost like static electricity. And from inside the room, you hear, yes, Hierophant, please join me. We have much to discuss. And he walks in, and the door closes behind him.
I turn to everyone else and say, favors are not good payment. This feels like we're getting sent by a gamer into some kind of internship.
Spoken
Yeah,
like
no,
someone
it's-
who truly does not understand the purpose of networking. This is
We're working.
huge.
Yeah, this is us working for exposure, is what it is.
We're working for key cards to the Garden of Eden.
I'd really rather just have uh, an income and a place to live. But, you know, it's good that you have your own priorities.
I
Otherwise,
do,
everyone
and
would be the same. It would be so boring.
mine are much longer term priorities than yours seem to be. We
Well,
have
it's
forever.
wonderful that you have such freedom to not be about where you have to live or where your income is coming from. But some of us need to make me.
You have a
Some of
I'm.
us are
revolver.
at the mercy of a sire who lives in a nasty old rundown apartment that smells like sweat and old pizza.
I'm with Sage on this one.
Well, you be as short sighted as you please to be. I will have the prince's favor.
Looks like we all get to have the prince's favor as our reward. It's terribly exciting. Anyway, they were students, right?
That's what
Yeah.
he was saying.
Right. I can go back to campus and uh, ask around. Where should we
Wait,
meet?
do you go to that university?
Well, when I dropped out, so no, but I have a student ID, and as long as I don't have to pass anything that I have to use my student ID to access, I can just show it, and the security leaves me alone.
That's one more art student at the University of Miami.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting it.
Finally, I'm really catching on, aren't I?
It seems like you're a little slow on the uptake with your resistance to getting paid for anything, but no, it seems like you're okay.
And he kind of
How
leans
about
over to
you?
Sage.
You called him sire. Kimberly is the prince. Is the prince your sire?
That would be correct. Did
Oh
you not
God, that
catch
sounds
the
awful.
Did you not catch the introduction of the prince's child, Kimberly McKnight?
Yeah, now who's slow on
No,
the
I
uptake?
wasn't paying attention. I don't care about the
Obviously.
politics of this, but anyway, well, congratulations on having an excellent sugar daddy. This is a much better place to stay free than mine is. Um,
Yes,
You
and
have understanding
it
that we'll get key cards and can come here? Like, you seem to think that this place just, like, stops existing?
Yeah, that does seem to be it. And if you were a little bit more understanding of politics, you'd understand that by becoming my friends and companions, that means I could invite you over for sleepovers, and I live in the top 3 floors of a penthouse apartment.
you look like you used to be pretty cool, but you sound like you sold out really hard.
Anything it takes to be a star.
Oh, okay. Well, it really needs to meet you. Here, and I pull out a piece of paper from my coat and I write down myself several times and tear the piece of paper and hand it to everyone and say, I need to get out of here. I don't really being here, so it was wonderful to meet you, and I will expect a call uh, in the next day or two, and we can all figure out what everybody knows. Yeah? Is that
Yeah, I
okay?
mean, yeah, sure, why not? We're all working
Does
together, and
anyone
we may just,
tell me,
Kimberly's gonna just
and then I'll
have
have your
a,
numbers, okay?
of course. Have a good rest of your evening.
I will, and I hope that you have a good rest of your evening too.
Oh,
And
I intend to.
just because I don't know if I think you're cool anymore doesn't mean I don't want you to have a good time.
You're very
Oh,
off-putting.
it just breaks my
What?
heart that you don't think I'm cool anymore. There might actually be two. No, no, wait, that's just indigestion.
Didn't
Sage,
expect it
Sage, do
would
you
upset
think,
anyone.
yeah, but Sage, do you think anybody's cool?
I mean, you seem kind of cool, but I don't know that about you. I can find out though. It's okay. But
And
okay. Bye
Victor
everybody.
turns
You
back
do
to
look really handsome in that suit. But we do need to go shopping, get you something better than that, because you do look like a socialite funeral director. Okay, everyone, it's been interesting to meet you, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and hang out at campus. I'm gonna talk to people until they tell me something.
Sage,
Farewell.
Yeah.
just a second. Sage, quickly. Sidebar? Alone?
Hmm.
For just a moment?
Okay.
She walks with him, kind of away from the crew. Um, if you meet a girl named Friday on campus, dibs. Leave her out of this. Okay?
I wasn't gonna. Okay.
Okay.
Who's Friday?
A girl.
Okay. Well, I'll find out. It's okay.
It's good to
Um,
meet you.
it is. And then I just walk away.
Yeah, she walks off too.
All right.
Yeah, Kimberly's gonna watch the two of them walk off and then link arms with Victor and lead him back down to the party. I suppose I could have mentioned that I've got a gig in the cafe on campus Thursday. Oh well, I'll remember to mention it later. Come, let us rejoin the party. Maybe I can irritate Helen with my presence. It'll be fun.
honestly, I'd love to fucking see that happen. But what do you mean by you're irritating her with your presence?
Well, it's quite obvious she's very possessive over you, otherwise she wouldn't have been glaring at you most of the party.
She's also the kind of person to let herself into my apartment, so.
Oh,
Did you
perhaps
give
when
her
you
a key?
change your location. That'll be fun. I have a spare room.
And yeah, I did give her a key, because he was the one who bought the apartment for me. Again, I need money. I can't afford one on my own.
Would you like to stay with me for a bit, my friend?
Uh, I must be off. I've been given the tip to introduce myself to Invictus Primogen.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy yourself there.
You too.
But you
Don't
know
go in
what?
any locked rooms.
Yeah, I'd rather not do that again. But I think I'll take you up on that offer.
Excellent. Perhaps we should go collect a few of your things. Father won't mind. He's peaceful that way.
I just need to grab a few some of my shit from my place, and we'll be set.
And bring your drawing equipment. You
Well-
do have a job now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
We'll
your music
discuss-
video ain't gonna animate itself.
Exactly. We will discuss terms and payments later.
All right, I ain't signing the contract until that's discussed, though. I've been
Of
fucked
course.
before.
I have no desire to fuck you.
Caro, you wanted to meet the Primogen.
I would.
Okay. She is one of the last people in the groups that seem to be the best dressed there. And when you find her looking out over off the second floor balcony, over an enclosed, kind of like a garden ecosystem kind of thing. It's about 20 feet on a side, and it takes up a little bit of the floor space on the first floor. And she's looking down at it and just kind of pondering to herself, it looks like.
Any for your thoughts?
She doesn't look up quite right away, but when she does, there's a smile on her face, and she says that I find it interesting how well the cycle of food is represented at these events. Plants, which are eaten by kine, which are eaten by vampires, who eventually turn to dust and return to the plants.
Takes a good little while.
We merely delay our fate. Good evening, Miss DeLaquer.
Good evening. May I remind me the title? There's so many people.
Which one? I have several. I
Take your pick.
am the Primogen of the Ventru. I am the president and CEO of Ex Novium, the flagship corporation of the Invictus, if you will.
Madam President, then.
Indeed. It is a pleasure to meet such a young member of our organization. She reaches out and holds out her hand.
She takes it and then puts the other hand over it to shake with both hands. It's a pleasure to meet you.
She's got a very firm grip.
Yeah. Charlotte is, by the face, calm, confident. She is very nervous. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Your beast is not comfortable. The presence of Annette is very demanding, even though she's a fairly slim woman. She's probably about 5'7", 5'8", maybe weighs all of 160, 165 pounds. Doesn't look intimidating at all by traditional standards, but as she's speaking to you, you find yourself intimidated. How may I assist you?
It's funny, I was preparing to ask the same thing. I'm newer to the group, but could not be more thrilled to be a member.
Of course. Cressida speaks highly of you, or perhaps spoke highly of you when she asked to turn you. It was gushing, even. It was very nice.
Cressida is very kind.
How are you finding your way among us?
Gently and carrying a big stick.
I see. I remember, well, not when I was first turned, of course, but when several of my childer were turned, I spent years even still unsure, still trying to find their ways. And eventually they did. But you will too. I'm confident in that.
What did you tell them when they came to you and said they were struggling?
Remember your place. Your place is not among the kind. Your place is at the top.
My place is at the top.
Indeed.
It's a pleasure and an honor, Madam President. I'll let you get back to your contemplating the cycles. I have to drink.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
Would you like me to bring you anything to prevent the onslaught of other eager go-getters to meeting you?
No, it's quite all right. These things, there are several purposes behind them, but in having them, the prince and I are in agreement.
I'm glad to hear.
Have a pleasant evening.
You as well. She walks off.
All right. It is 6:00, and that's where we're going to leave it for today. It's been a lot of fun. This is a very different atmosphere than what I just ran. So I'm kind of excited about it. I'm having a blast with my cast. They're a lot of fun. So if you get the chance to play with them in the future, please do. They all get my recommendation because they're amazing. And we will see you again in 2 weeks as we pick up in Miami, the city of Vice. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for sticking with us. And thanks for all the follows. We appreciate it. And we will see you back again then. And until then, from our Citadel to yours, happy gaming.